Namaste, everyone. I'm Sunita Viswanath, and I am the executive director and one of the co-founders of an organization called Hindus for Human Rights. And the title for this session, which is going to be partly me talking and lots of us chanting together, is Shakti, Satya, Shanti, Prayers of Resistance. My Buddhist brother, Maung Zarni, who's a Burmese genocide scholar and a human rights advocate, recently wrote a tract calling not for prayers of peace, but of resistance. He ends his piece with Frederick Douglass, who says, "I prayed for freedom for 20 years, but received no answer until I prayed with my legs." One of my religious and spiritual inspirations is Dorothy Day, for whom prayer was nothing but public service and resistance to hunger, poverty, and other social inequities. And the church was her street. She said, "Love and ever more love is the only solution to every problem that comes up. If we just love each other enough, we will bear with each other's faults and burdens." I will draw from chants and prayers I've learned from two of my spiritual guides and beloved teachers, Pandit Raja Bhattar and Pandita Pratima Dubey. Our chants will be repeated 11 times each. 11 is an important and sacred number for Hindus. It encourages deep focus, and it reflects the 10 senses, 5 perceptive and 5 active, and also the mind. And it reflects the 11 forms of Shiva or Rudra, the Lord of destruction and regeneration, which inevitably follows. And since there is no male divine without the female in Hindu thought, we are also invoking the inseparable energies of Shiva and Shakti, Purusha and Prakriti, the formless, timeless, and eternal consciousness, that's Purusha, and the dynamic and creative energy of matter and nature, that is Prakriti. So we'll start with a Buddhist chant from Vietnamese monk and peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh that Pandit Raja Bhattar chanted at our prayer and meditation session on the 2nd anniversary of October 7th. And I should say that there is a sheet in the chat that has these chants so that you can sing along. This is about breathing and centering in breath. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. Breathing in, I notice the interbeing of our suffering. Breathing out, I commit to acting for justice. When I first began thinking about coming back to interfaith alignment to pray and chant with you all, I didn't know that the crisis we are in right now in this country, the United States, would escalate as it has. Renee Good was shot dead on January 7th in broad daylight by ICE agents in Minneapolis while she was protecting her neighbors. As she was saying to the ICE agent who shot her, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." On January 24th, Alex Pretty was shot dead by ICE in Minneapolis, also while being a good and brave and loving neighbor. Here are just some of the people who have been killed since last year by ICE. Victor Manuel Diaz, Para de la, Luis Beltran Yanez Cruz, Luis Gustavo Núñez Casares, Ismael Ayala Uribe, Santos Reyes Vanegas, Oscar Duarte Rascon, Lorenzo Antonio Batres Vargas, Keith Porter. I was in Minneapolis last week, one of the 1,000 faith leaders that converged there. What I witnessed was exactly the radical and unconditional love that I had originally wanted to talk about here and meditate on. Everyone we met was protesting, engaging in nonviolent non-cooperation, civil disobedience, running and supporting mutual aids, donating money, space, and time, driving immigrant children to school to keep their parents safe, delivering groceries, running patrol, which means driving around the streets of Minneapolis, keeping their eyes on ICE agents, showing up in numbers when they saw ICE harassing someone in the streets, recording them, documenting, and sometimes sacrificing their lives in the process. The 1,000 faith leaders that converged in Minneapolis made that city of heroes our temple, our church, our mosque, our synagogue. And we prayed there with our feet in minus 20-degree weather. The message that I bring to all of us from Minneapolis: put aside all your differences and hold on to each other for dear life. Protect each other. Give to each other without limit, and act now, for there isn't time to hesitate. We will now repeat some chants and prayers devoted to Minneapolis and those who have been slaughtered by ICE. Remember to breathe, and remember that you cannot control what somebody else does, but you can control your own response to the chaos and cruelty in our midst. Can you step up to help your neighbor? Can you take out your phone to record an atrocity underway before your eyes? Can you step in and appeal to the wrongdoer to have mercy? Can you give of your own money your spare room, your couch? Can you spend hours of your time helping families that are scared to leave their homes? What can you do to show that all of us are connected as one? We are Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, a beloved, sacred community, a family with each other. And if we love each other, we just find within ourselves rage for this slaughter of our loved ones, and we channel that rage into defiance, into resistance. I've been thinking about the fiercest forms of our goddess Durga, or Mahakali, depicted in a state of divine rage, blood dripping from her mouth, a garland of skulls around her neck, weapons in her 10 arms. Ma Mahakali rules time and death, and through her Tandavam, or cosmic dance with her consort and lover, Lord Shiva, the universe is created, preserved, and destroyed. Her rage is against evil and injustice, born of ignorance, ego, and greed, depicted by the demons she slays and tramples underfoot as she dances with the one who completes her. And through her rage and her dance, she loves and protects all of us. As we chant, let us center ourselves in that divine rage and commitment to resisting, in fact, vanquishing the cruelty and the brutality we find ourselves in the midst of. Let us vanquish the tendencies to cruelty within ourselves and all around. And each chant will be repeated 11 times. Ma Kalaratri is one name for the most fearsome form of the goddess. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Ma Kalratri Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ma Kalaratrirupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha We will chant some powerful Bija mantras, seed mantras, with single syllabic sounds which create vibrations to transform the energy around us and within us, one to Durga Ma and one to Saraswati Ma. Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. 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 Saraswati Devi is the aspect of Devi who gives us wisdom. Let us pray to her so that we may all have the wisdom and discernment to make good choices and decisions that reduce suffering and increase justice or dharma in the world. Om Aim Shrim Hrim Saraswati Devye Namaha. 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 I now recall our Prema Yatra in 2022 and each year since then. In December 2021, several hundred saffron-clad sadhus and sadhvis, those are Hindu renunciants, gathered in the holy and beautiful town of Haridwar in North India and literally called for a genocide of India's Muslims. We yearn to hear Hindu religious leaders across India and the world denounce this hate being spoken in our name, but there was silence. Several of us from our organization, Hindus for Human Rights, traveled from the United States to India. We traveled across North and then South India. We were on our Prema Yatra, the pilgrimage of love, visiting ashrams and temples, searching for absolutely any Hindu priests and renunciants whose vision for the world and our religion was liberatory, who absolutely rejected this bigotry and all forms of bigotry, including the dehumanizing system of caste. Our travels took us to Benares, where Bhakti saints Kabir and Ravidas lived and built their revolutionary movements of love. Begumpura is the sorrowless, egalitarian city or utopia envisioned by Dalit-born Bhakti saint Ravidas in the 15th century. His teachings are included in the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book revered by the Sikhs. My friend and brilliant musician Sunny Singh has set the words of Sant Ravidas to music, and these words are in Punjabi. The words are Begumpura Sher ko nao, Dukhi ando nahi thai thao. And that means Begumpura is the name of my city, a place without grief or anxiety. In the last doha or couplet, Sant Ravidas describes himself as a liberated or emancipated chamar, a Dalit community that works with leather. He rejected and transcended caste. And those words are Kahi Ravidas, Kalas Chamara. Ravidas, emancipated chamar, says, Jo hum Sahare Somit Hamara, whoever is a citizen there, that is in Begumpura, is a friend of mine. And so let us sing 11 times. Again, this is borrowed from our dear brother, Sunny Singh. Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai to, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao, Begumpura, Sher ko na, Dukhi ando nahi tai tao. I now look back to August 2024, when my brother Zarni and I joined Rabbis for Ceasefire and Christians for Ceasefire on an interfaith delegation to the West Bank. Some members of Dorothy Day's Catholic worker movement were part of that delegation. We prayed our prayers of rage and resistance at the southern border to Gaza. And I was wearing this keffiyeh and this t-shirt. And my prayer was to Lord Shiva, not because he is the god of destruction, but because, along with his fierce and rageful and righteous Shakti, he brings about what inevitably follows destruction, and that is regeneration. And we desperately want the end to this genocide and the creation and life that will come soon. This is the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra, the powerful Shiva prayer that Hindus chant to ward off unjust and untimely death. It means, O three-eyed one, O Shiva, you are sweet gladness, the fragrance of life, who nourishes us, restores our health, and causes us to thrive. As in due time, the stem of the plant weakens and the fruit is freed from the vine, so free us from attachment and death, and do not withhold immortality. And so let us chant. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanahat Mrityormukshiya Mamritahat. A prayer from Pandit Rajaji. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Palestine jana sukhino bhavantu. 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 Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Palestine Jana, Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta, 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 Sukhino bhavantu. Palestine Jana, Sukhino bhavantu. May the whole world be happy and safe. May the people of Palestine be happy and safe. And so to close, Hindu prayers usually end with 3 Om Shantis for peace within, peace in our families and communities, and peace in the world and balance in the universe. In these recent weeks, months, and years of prayers of rage and resistance, with a bow to Pandita Pratima Dubey, who taught me this, I have been ending my prayers with Om Shakti, the power of Devi, the mother goddess, who sits in our hearts as fire, stirring our conscience. Om Satya, she makes us fearless, and we speak truth without a thought to the consequences. And Om Shanti, only from such fire and power and truth can true peace be born. Any other peace is a sham, it's a lie, it's a fig leaf, it's a hypocrisy. Our final chant. And as we chant, we notice the interbeing of all suffering and commit to action for justice. Om Shakti, Om Satya, Om Shanti, 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 Om Shakti, Om Satya, Om Shanti. Pranam. Namaste.